Welcome back to the Out of Sight Sports YouTube series, where we cut through the fluff and get straight to the mess in sports. Today's target? The Jaguars and their head coach, Doug Pederson. The question on everyone's mind, is it time for the Jaguars to toss Doug Pederson overboard before the ship sinks any further? Sitting at a depressing 0-4, this team is circling the drain, and people are wondering if Doug Pederson still has the compass, or if he's just lost in the fog. Let's face it, after starting 8-3 last year, things have fallen apart faster than a cheap lawn chair. The Jaguars have dropped 9 of their last 10 games, and at this point, even the most die-hard fans are starting to see the cracks in Doug Pederson's armor. The Jaguars were supposed to be contenders in the AFC South this year, but instead they've become a punchline. Doug Pederson? He's not exactly ducking responsibility, at least not publicly. He's told everyone, if you want to blame someone, blame me. And honestly, good, because the blame should be coming in hot. After all, this is the guy who's stubbornly sticking with offensive coordinator Press Taylor, despite the fact that the Jaguars' offense has been about as effective as a screen door on a submarine. Fans and analysts alike are screaming for a shakeup, but Doug Pederson's digging in his heels like a guy who refuses to ask for directions, convinced he can fix things if he just keeps going down the same dead-end road. Then there's Trevor Lawrence, the supposed golden boy of Jacksonville, who just signed a contract that makes your eyes water, is playing like he's still figuring out which way is up. Statistically, he's one of the least accurate quarterbacks in the league, hovering just above rookie Anthony Richardson. Imagine having a $55 million QB who can barely outplay a kid fresh out of college. Lawrence's passes have been wobblier than a grocery cart with a busted wheel, and it's becoming harder to ignore the reality that maybe, just maybe, this coaching staff isn't getting the best out of him. Now here's the kicker. The Jaguars are 0-4, and statistically, their playoff chances are about as high as winning the lottery while getting struck by lightning. The real question is, how do they dig themselves out of this hole? If Doug Pederson pulls the trigger and fires Press Taylor, he's left with a gaping hole in his play-calling strategy. Taylor's been responsible for shaping this offense, and cutting him loose leaves a void that the Jaguars aren't equipped to fill. Quarterbacks coach Mike McCoy is the next man up for play calling, but considering his last offense was ranked dead last in the league, that's like trying to put out a fire with a water pistol. The truth is, firing Doug Pederson and Taylor would put the Jaguars in a hole so deep they might as well start digging for oil. Who steps up if you let both of them go? There's no clear interim head coach waiting in the wings, and by making that kind of move, the Jaguars would basically be admitting that 2024 is a dumpster fire they can't salvage. Trevor Lawrence's prime years? Gone, wasted, spent watching his massive contract burn along with the season. Not to mention, general manager Trent Baalke's seat is heating up faster than a car parked in Florida in August. So here we are, staring down a fork in the road. The Jaguars have a few winnable games coming up. Colts, Bears, Patriots. But if they don't turn it around right now, we're talking about wholesale changes across the board. Doug Pederson might be the first to go, but don't be surprised if the entire front office follows him out the door. Thanks for watching this episode of the Out of Sight Sports YouTube series. The Jaguars are in freefall, and whether Doug Pederson can pull the parachute remains to be seen. But it's getting real hard to argue that sticking with him is the answer. What do you think? Should the Jaguars cut ties now? Or is there still some hope for Doug Pederson to turn this thing around? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us on social OOS Sports for more out-of-sight content from around the sports world. See you next time.